Hello, I am again trying to share my screen. Let's see if this will work. Okay, I'm going to get this right one day. How is everybody on this Tuesday evening? It's December 17th. We have less than a half month left in December. Whatever you need to do, get yourselves together for 2025 because we're going to what? We are going to thrive in 2025. So let's talk about one of the questions that came up. I've asked you guys to send me questions when you have questions. And one young lady sent a question, which is similar to some of the other questions that I have been getting. And this is a good tie in because the question was about Costa Rica. And she asked me, how I went about getting property in Costa Rica. I think I've talked about this before, but I can't assume that everybody has heard it. So I had a client that called me and said that his brother married a Costa Rican girl and her father wanted to sell some property. So I see, based on my experience, that a lot of property that's sold is sold word of mouth. Now, it is good to use an attorney and it's good to use a realtor, when you need to, but making sure that your contracts are together is the best thing so that you find some property, you really want it, you want to do some investigation on it to make sure that you can actually build on it. I just heard a story yesterday about somebody, wasn't in Costa Rica, but they bought some property and they planned on putting a nice modest house on it, and they found out that they couldn't build on it. So we don't want those kind of tragedies at all. And we want to avoid them. So that was the answer to that question. Let me know in the chat if you have any other questions about Costa Rica or purchasing property in Costa Rica. And yes, I did change my hair. Just doing stuff. Just, it always being in my face is, sometimes problematic. I had a lot of work to do today with my hands. And, when you're bending over, you don't want a whole bunch of, so anyway. We are going to talk about the topic. Why are wealthy people not leaving money for their children? And there's sort of a twist to this because I started hearing about it maybe about 10 years ago. That first of all, it was Warren Buffett. And then there were others saying, oh no, we're not leaving an inheritance to our children. I'm thinking, they want people to think, oh, that is so cruel of them not to do that. It's like then you start thinking of reasons that people don't want to leave an inheritance to their children. Now, I would definitely, certainly want to have my children have the things that I worked for, as long as they weren't, as long as my children weren't crazy with it. I had one lady that was doing a presentation and she said that she has a son and a daughter, and she has her daughter in charge of her estate because and the daughter, she trusts the daughter to distribute funds to her son. And the reason why she didn't do 50-50 or give him any control over it was because, and this is what she said, he would go out and buy a Lamborghini, and then 10 days later he wouldn't have gas to put in it. So everybody laughed, but you do have those people that will squander what you've worked for. I do know of a situation of a family member that had a friend, then her parents passed away in a car accident, and she got everything. She got money, she got everything. And within 6 months, all the money was gone. So it's not just about, oh, I'm going to be able to leave things for my children. You got to teach them. If they're young, like when my children were young, they have godparents, but those godparents were also trustees until my children came of age. So these are things that we have to think about. I looked up some of the reasons why people supposedly aren't giving their children an inheritance, that aren't leaving their children money. Some of the things that said they want to leave it to other organizations for philanthropy. So it says many wealthy individuals, and it says such as Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and George Lucas have pledged to donate a significant portion of their wealth to charity during their lifetime or after their death. They believe that giving away their wealth will have a greater impact on society than leaving it to their children. And that's one of the reasons that came up. The next one was avoiding entitlement. Okay. I don't know if that would really help if you're already wealthy. Not leaving them something is not going to avoid entitlement, but it says wealthy parents may want to avoid creating an entitled mindset in their children. By not leaving them a large inheritance, they encourage their kids to work hard and earn their own success rather than relying on inherited wealth. That's one reason. Another one is preserving family wealth. Some wealthy individuals like Andrew Carnegie believe that inherited wealth often leads to a decline in family fortunes over subsequent generations. By not leaving a large inheritance, they aim to preserve their family wealth and legacy. Now, I did do some research, and I take classes and things like that. Some families, I think it might have been the Gloria Vanderbilt. There are a lot of families that their wealth is gone within 2 or 3 generations. And that's because they're leaving it to incompetent people, or they're leaving it to people that are, mismanaging it. Even if it's an outside entity that you've left it to, you have to make sure that it's taken care of properly. So that's another reason. Another one, education and personal responsibility. Wealthy parents may prioritize their children's education and personal responsibility over a large inheritance. They want their children to develop skills and values that will serve them well, regardless of their financial situation. So that's supposedly another reason why wealthy people may not be leaving their children money. Another one, avoiding financial dependence. By not leaving a large inheritance, wealthy parents can avoid creating a situation where their children become financially dependent on them. I see that a lot. We call them trust babies. This allows the children to develop their own financial independence and decision-making skills, which is a help. That doesn't mean you don't want to leave them anything, but teach them correctly when they're younger, and you won't have to worry about that. Another one is focus. They want to focus on character and development. Some wealthy individuals like Bob, I don't know, a father, quoted in the search results, prioritize character development over material wealth. I think they go hand in hand. You need to teach them character, but you need to teach them how to make money and how to keep it. They believe that teaching their children to work hard, be responsible, and develop good values is more important than leaving them a large inheritance. Some people believe that, some people don't. So put a 1 in the chat if you believe it's more important to leave them a large inheritance, or put a 2 in the chat if you think it's more important to help them develop good values while they're young. Anyway, so the tax implications of leaving a large inheritance can be an issue. including estate and gift taxes. So wealthy people, they should have the right advice. A lot of them don't, as to how to avoid these gift and estate taxes. Wealthy individuals may choose to minimize these taxes by not leaving these sums to their children. Now, I have seen a lot. I've walked with people who were going through these situations where their parents died and didn't have a will, didn't have things in order, and it's been really interesting over the years. What I've seen in general is that when a parent, first of all, when a parent is ill, you start seeing some changes in the relatives. And then when the parent passes away, it just gets crazy sometimes. It's like the roaches come out of the woodwork and start doing stuff. So I had one situation that I know about where the father was ill. They knew that he was gonna, not last long. There were four daughters involved. And one of the daughters decided that and none of them were near him. So he was in a place where he lived, alone. One of the daughters decided that she was going to go take care of her dad during his last days. And she went and she stayed there 3 or 4 months. I think it was more like 4 months. And then he passed away. And when he passed away, she went back to her state. But when it came time to talk about his assets, while she had been there, she had him put her name on all the bank accounts. And whether you know this or not, it doesn't matter what you leave in a will. If the will says that Johnny is supposed to get $10,000 and Davy is also supposed to get $10,000, if the parent has Davy's name on the bank account, Davy gets everything in the bank account. I took some classes early on, like in the late 80s, and they were asset protection classes, and they were very, very revealing. And one of the other cases was a young lady, a man married a younger girl. The girl was just a few years older than his daughter. And of course, the daughter was not happy. And it wasn't just that he got married, but he married this girl, and his daughter kind of felt like the girl was after his stuff. So he told his daughter, "Oh, I'm gonna leave you the, you know, I'm gonna leave you the bank account. I'm gonna leave you all the money. I'm gonna leave her the house because she's taking care of me. You're in another state. She's taking care of me. I'm gonna leave you the house, but I'm gonna leave. I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave her the house, but I'm gonna leave you all the money." Well, nobody told this man that when he put that young lady's name on his bank accounts, then she got the money. When he passed away, that woman that he married gave his daughter his clothes and his pictures. So we have to be very, very careful about all of this stuff. So all I see is twos. You all in my tribe are really smart. I would not want to prioritize giving money over good morals and good character. So yes. And hello everybody. I see Carlos. I see Bonita. Hi Bonita. Gina. I see Adrian. Hi. Swan. I see a couple more of you. Bryn J. So that's what the computer says about why people aren't giving an inheritance. Now, I smelled a rat back when the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave the Warren Buffett Foundation like $100 million, and then the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation turned around and gave the Warren Buffett Foundation $100 million. I knew what was going up then. It's like they get anyway. So I want to read you this story, and maybe you'll understand what these people are actually doing. Okay. Warren Buffett says there's one simple way to prevent your family from being confused and angry after you die. So that's the title of the article. Legendary investor Warren Buffett recently wrote a surprise letter to shareholders of his company, Berkshire Berkshire Hathaway. In the letter, Buffett announced plans to convert 1,600 of his Berkshire Class A shares into 2.4 million Class B shares. These shares, valued at approximately $1.1 billion based on current market prices, will be given to his four family foundations, and 300,000 shares each to the Sherwood Foundation, the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, and the Novo Foundation. So he's given all this money to these foundations. Okay. Y'all hang with me here. Despite a staggering net worth of $143 billion, placing him among the wealthiest individuals globally, Buffett reiterated that he has never wished to create a dynasty or pursue any plan that extended beyond the children. Okay. With his latest gift, Buffett has now given away more than half of his Berkshire fortune. The gifts I am making today reduce my holdings of Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares to 206,363, a 56.6% decrease since my 2006 pledge, he wrote. Buffett said that he hopes his three children, who are now 71, 69, and 66, can disperse all of their assets. He noted that all actions taken by the foundations overseeing his wealth would require an unanimous vote by his children. Buffett has also designated three potential successor trustees who are somewhat younger than his children, acknowledging the possibility that his children may not be able to fully deploy his vast fortune within their lifetimes. Okay, I'm going to go on. Here's his suggestion for parents. In addition to outlining his philanthropic plans, Buffett offered parenting advice about handling finances, applicable to families of any wealth level. I have one further suggestion for all parents, whether they are of modest or staggering wealth. When your children are mature, have them read your will before you sign it, he wrote. The reasoning, he explained, is to ensure that each child understands the logic behind your decisions and the responsibilities they will inherit after your passing. By fostering transparency, parents can minimize potential misunderstandings or conflicts down the road. You don't want your children asking why in respect to testamentary decisions when you are no longer able to respond, he cautioned. Buffett says he and his late business partner, Charlie Munger, witnessed firsthand some of the potential risk of poor estate planning. Over the years, Charlie and I saw many families driven apart after posthumous dictates of the will left beneficiaries confused and sometimes angry. Jealousies, along with actual or imagined slights during childhood, became magnified, particularly when sons were favored over daughters, either in monetary ways or by positions of importance, Buffett wrote. I'm going to check the chat before I go on. Gina used to travel. Own nothing, control everything. You got it. That's the key. Own nothing and control everything. Carlos says, easy come, easy go. Sugar baby. Oh, yes, that was a sugar baby. Okay, they call the women that date older men sugar babies because the man is a sugar daddy. I get it. It's a sucker if you ask me, but anyway, it's another story. Start a family trust, get whole life insurance, be your own bank with the trust as the beneficiary. Yeah, real solutions. That's a real solution. Berkshire is number 4. Wow. So he is not tangibly, physically giving his children the money, but all of those foundations that he named, each of his children own those foundations. Even the one I looked up, Novo, and first of all, I looked up how many children does he have, and then I found out he has 3 children, and then I looked up the foundations, and it says, like they're owned by or they're managed by the children. So the way to keep wealth in your family is to make sure that you have children that are knowledgeable, and you have a way to have that money not taxed. So when you do the foundation may pay, and you all read between the lines, the foundation may pay, let's say, his daughter, which I saw the letter that he left to his daughter concerning the foundation, her foundation. They can live out of the foundation. The foundation, they're managers of the foundation, and they take a small salary, but all of the assets that the foundation owns, they have control over it. Like she said, own nothing, control everything. So they can live in $1 million houses. They can drive the most expensive cars. They can go all over the world. They can get yachts. They can do all these things within the foundation. So they can live that luxury life without having to say, this is my house, this is my yacht. A lot of times it's a poverty spirit to want to be able to say, this is mine, this is mine. Smart people and wealthy people don't want to own stuff like that. You don't want to take ownership of it. So even though he's not necessarily given these children a whole bunch of money, these foundations are going to carry on. Now, you all remember this started way back when. You got the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, the Carnegie Foundation, and then, a whole bunch of these other wealthy families, they have foundations. And I'm not going to get out into the ins and outs of how foundations work per se right now, but for example, if the foundation has money, let's say I'm going to pick on somebody in here. Let's say Carlos has 4 teenage children, like 13, 14, 15, and 16. Carlos, I'm putting children on you over here. And they, they want to go to Italy. They want to backpack across Italy. They want to visit all of they want to go to Venice. They want to go to Rome. They want to go to Milan and Naples and all this. And so the foundation that Carlos is managing can make a declaration that it's going to give funds to a particular organization or school or some particular summer camp for let's say 20 teenagers to backpack across Italy. So Carlos's 4 teenagers and all their friends get to backpack across Italy, and the foundation is paying for it. We just need to, and the reason I brought that up is because I was in Italy. I've been more than once, but a particular time I saw a lot of young people backpacking. I was in Milan, or I was in Florence, I was in Venice, and you could see that the wealthy kids, they didn't act snobby. They wore jeans and gym shoes just like everybody else. But, I was pretty sure based on what I saw and heard that, some foundation paid for these trips. A lot of us, when we were younger, and especially when our parents were younger, we were not taught how to manage finances. A lot of us, when we were younger, and when our parents were younger, didn't have finances. That's just the way things were in the country. And I'm not trying to, insinuate that, it's something that can be overcome. And I'm hoping that you guys in this tribe have overcome a lot of that. But even when we get to the point where we start bringing in more resources than we're spending, we really, really have to focus on what to do with those extras. Because when you have extra money, it needs to make money. You have to, first of all, manage what's going out. And then you have to, first of all, you have a certain amount of money. If you manage properly the way it's going out, it's going to grow money. You're going to have money left over. So if you're bringing in $5,000 a month and you're spending out $5,000 a month, you're not going to get anywhere. As I've stated before, you have to earn money faster than you spend it. And we spend money every day, even though we don't know it. I mean, you've got a light bill, you got a gas bill, you've got gasoline, you got all kind of stuff. But how many people get paid every day? How many people get paid handsomely every day? So we have to look at this, okay? In my mind, and I'm trying to logic it out to you. I need to bring in more money so that I can make that money grow, not so I can spend it on a new car or anything. I just need to make money so that I can make that money grow. So let's take, for example, my favorite, of course, you all know that, the home based business. Let's say I'm going to pick on somebody else. Bonita, you have a job and you make $70,000. And I'm talking about Georgia because other places that's below the poverty line. And you said, okay, I've got my cars paid off, but I got to start saving for a new car because they don't last forever. And I know I need to save my money. Using your money to make money is the way that you're going to be able to do this. So taking some of the money that you have left over, you're in a position where you're bringing in, let's just do these numbers, $5,000, um, let's say $6,000 a month, but you're only spending 3,000. You fine tuned your budget and you're only spending 3,000. You really don't need to be just accumulating the $3,000 in some bank account somewhere because you're doing the backstroke. Because the interest that you would get in a normal bank account is far less than the cost of living. So you don't want to do that. You do want to save cash though, to make sure that if your money stopped, you have enough to pay your bills for a while. Somebody that has been in this chat before had enough to live off of for a year so that they could go to school because they saved it. So we want to save some of it. So let's say you save $10, $12,000, $18,000, $20,000. You got that cash. That's emergency cash. And remember, I talked about there's no such thing as real emergencies. There are things that you didn't prepare for. For example, using your credit card to get a new dryer because your dryer went out. You knew that dryer, unless it's brand new, that's a situation. Hopefully, you can get a warranty or something like that. But if your dryer is over 7 or 8 years old, you need to start making sure that you're saving for another washer dryer. I hear a lot of people, not necessarily clients, but a lot of people talk about all of the tragedies that they've had and how their credit cards got run up. And when I listen to the situations, it's like, no, that shouldn't have happened because you should have been planning. So proper planning is what you need to do and not call it an emergency. So let's go back to Bonita. She's saved up enough money to make sure that she's comfortable that she can replace that washer dryer, or she can pay, mortgage. We're gonna put Bonita in a house. She can pay the mortgage, and then you're thinking, okay, so a lot of people think I got it made. I'm just gonna have this money coming in, and I'm gonna go do all this stuff with the money, having vacations. No, no, no. Think about ways to utilize the money to make money. We've talked about these things before, but one of the best things to do if you want to make your money make money is use it for, like, real estate, rental property. If you go and if say you live in an apartment and you're ready to buy a house, so you don't just go buy a big old house based on what they tell you can afford, because that's more than you need. They tell you to buy more house, and you don't need to be spending any more than like 30% of your income on houses. But a lot of people can't afford houses these days. Take the time to go find you a place that you can rent out some of it. So duplexes. There were some duplexes not too far from me, and every time I saw a for sale sign, by the time I called the number, somebody had already put a contract on it. Because think about it, you live in one side of the duplex, and the other person on the other side is literally paying for the whole mortgage. Buying silver and gold to put aside is another thing. Of course, we talked about starting a home based business. Some people that I have worked with, they live off of their job money, but they've started a home based business. And as that business grows and earns money, first of all, they put they put money into the business, and then after that, the extras, they start investing. I'm going to go back to the chat and see if there are any questions. No kids. Carlos says no kids, thank God. Well, that's a good thing if you're thanking God for that. He's 46, never been married, and all my friends that are divorced say, "Don't ever get married." Oh, don't be down on marriage. They just didn't know how to vet. You have to be able to vet properly, and that's another thing, another story. These we haven't been taught how to vet properly. Now I know now, because I don't know if you guys know that my doctoral dissertation was basically centered around male and female relationships and whatnot. But yeah, it's the fact that we're looking at somebody and thinking they're cute or sexy or, tall, dark, and well, that's not how you vet people. And I'm in an environment where I have at least 100 couples that I know that have been together for over 20 years. And I'm just saying, Carlos, don't be down on it. Just vet properly. Anyway, let's see what's next. I want to keep my wealth, definitely. But in order to keep it, you got to make it grow, because this system is made to suck up your wealth. It really is. They want to suck up all your wealth. The problem is most people don't choose the right partner. Yes, which is the main issue, right? They choose them for the wrong reasons and they didn't vet them. And I was privy to a whole vetting system for men and women, and I put that in a dissertation too. So yeah. I like to say to my friends that nobody loves me. Oh no, don't say that. I'm sure that there are people out there that love you. Yeah, prepare. Bonita, I would not put it in a DCA, land banking, precious metals. Okay. I would not put it in a DCA. Okay, so land. Okay, I started a home business and I'll be selling gumbo. Oh, and I'm hungry right now. Adrian Nicole, you shouldn't have said that. I am hungry. I was out all day doing stuff, and then I came home and it's like I really don't have time to prepare a decent meal before the live, because it was dark when I even was driving. So real estate is a good one. A lot of people tell me, oh, they can't afford real estate. So I want to talk just a little bit about, we've talked about several different home businesses that you can do. So when your home-based business starts making money, then you get enough for a down payment. So this is the logic that I'm saying, okay, let my home-based business start making money. Let it get up to $10,000. When I get up to $10,000, I'll start looking for some real estate deals, whether that be here or anywhere else. And when I find a real estate deal, I'll make sure that it can pay itself back. In other words, I'm looking for something to buy that's going to make my money back for me. We don't think enough about that. We don't think enough about how we utilize the money and the resources that we have to make our money back. And I always want to do that. For example, and this is an assignment for all of you, find something that you want to write about and write a short book. One of my business associates sent me over a little app that once you write your book in PDF, it'll switch it and you can sell your book, and people can go out and turn the pages, or you can give it away as a gift for anybody that comes into your rant. There's just so many things out there, but write. Everybody on this live has a story. I've written 9 books. Most my books are not fiction books, but you can write a story about yourself, or you can write a fictional book or something like that. That's something that you can do in your spare time. And when I mean spare time, I mean when you come home from wherever you are during the day, or if you at home, take a couple of hours and start writing. That's one way. There are so many other ways to make money, but when you get the money, don't just throw it in a bank or hide it in the wall or anything like that. Just start thinking about ways to make money. There are deals out there. Somebody's brought a deal to me 2 days ago, and later on tonight I'll look over it, but they're just deals out there where you put money into some kind of an investment. Let's talk a little bit about other kinds of investments. In my opinion, real estate is a capital guaranteed investment. A capital guaranteed investment is one that you are guaranteed to get your money back. So if a piece of real estate, you buy a piece of real estate, it's going to be worth something. Even if it gets burned down, you still got the insurance. You're going to get your money back. You're going to get your money back. Now, other types of non-guaranteed investments I don't like to talk about, but real estate is one of those capital guaranteed investments. There are other types of capital guaranteed investments, but 9 times out of 10, it's only the wealthy people that get to hear about those. If you hear about something, vet the investment. First of all, who's telling you? What is their position in this investment? How much do they have invested in it? Is this a company? Where is this company located? Who's in charge? There was an investment going around. It was and I'm not going to name any names. Some of you might recognize it, but it was a big old real estate investment situation where a person made up this company that was going to let people invest in real estate for starting at like $500. And he, gathered up all this momentum and said, okay, you can have a piece of real estate. You'll have a percentage. And I had a client that flew down to Atlanta. They had this big grand opening thing here. She flew down from New York to Atlanta and told me to go with her. The first thing I did was try to hunt out of all these people that were supposed to be part of this company, who was in charge of the money. I finally found the guy that they had pegged to be the CFO, the chief financial officer. And I asked him a series of questions. And based on his answers to those questions, when we left together, I told her, do not do this. Do not do it. And sure enough, the whole thing fell apart. All those poor people who were on, what do you call it? Restricted incomes. They were on fixed incomes. They're putting their $500 in, putting $1,000 in. I've heard some people put $20,000 in. It all went down the tube, you all. So make sure you understand how to vet investments. And if you don't, ask somebody. When we were in high school, one of the sayings we used to say is, you don't know, you better ask somebody. But yeah, so I'm going to go back to the chat and see if there are any other questions. Real estate. You sound like a robot. It's my phone. I hope. Do I sound like a robot to anybody else? I don't see a problem. My internet says it's on high. Education is key. And it's not. Real Solutions knows, because I can tell that it's not school education. It's not the government school education. It's education outside of there. I have another associate in Florida that has a doctorate and 2 master's degrees and, just floating in money. And my father asked him one time, how did you get to know, the things that you know and to do the things that you do? And his answer was, when I was about 19, I believe he said, somebody saw something in me and they mentored me. And we really, really, really need to start mentoring the young people. A lot of young people, they're off into whatever they're into, the rap music. And there are some of them out there that aren't caught up in what's going on today. See if you can find somebody to mentor. See if you can find somebody to mentor, because it's the education that's outside of the government schools going to make you wealthy. It's not the things that I learned. So my undergraduate degree is in accounting. And then I got my CPA. All of the stuff that I learned from college all the way through getting my CPA pales in comparison to the things that the wealthy people that I know have taught me. So if I had been taught that stuff in school, and if we were taught that stuff in the government schools, we wouldn't be where we are as, as people, as lower middle class or whatever. They don't want you to know these things. They don't want you to know. So when people came to me and said, hey, let me teach you how to pay a mortgage off earlier, let me teach you how to set up this, that, or the other, my ears were wide open, because I wanted to learn these things. I wanted to make sure that I follow what the wealthy do. You've heard that saying, follow the money. Well, same thing, follow the wealthy. What are the wealthy doing? Are they sitting on YouTube watching what's going on with P. Diddy? No. If they're on YouTube at all, they're going to learn something. I always say, And you've heard it before, YouTube University. There's so many educational videos out there. When I get stuck with things technologically, I've learned to go there. If my cousin isn't around, I've learned to go there, and I've had to clap sometimes because the instructions were clear enough, and I was able to get through it. So, what another thing wealthy people do, they don't go and buy a whole bunch of name brand designer clothes, and they'll get a good car, and sometimes they'll splurge and they'll get a luxury car like the Bentleys or the whatever else is out there. So a lot of the wealthy people that I know, they're not, none of them are flashy. One of the ones that I know lives in a 900 square foot house. He just doesn't care. So making sure that you have enough money to live off of, because now people are living into their 80s and 90s. I told you guys my parents are 81 and 80. We've got to pay attention. Let's see. Okay, I'm okay. So I'm not sounding like a robot. Thank you. That was it for tonight. If you don't have any questions, I'll kind of hang in here because again, you all listen. Some of you ask questions, but you don't ask a lot of questions. Austrian economics versus Keynesian economics. Yeah, I want to go look that up. Austrian economics versus Keynesian economics. There's a book, an old book called The Wealth of Nations, and along with a lot of other stuff I've read, I understand that this is not, first of all, this is not a democracy. This is supposed to be a republic, but our economic system is, oh, it's not what it was meant to be. It's like a hybrid system. And when you have the larger corporations that control everything, you all know who I'm talking about, then we don't really have a chance to be really free in the economics. Okay, so that's why you're not asking questions. You're taking in the wisdom. Okay. This I'm trying to think of the different economic systems. So you've got the socialism, you've got capitalism. Well, basically those are the two that are supposed to be the polar opposites. This is not a capitalistic society. This is not pure capitalism at all. It's been hijacked. So you have to figure out for yourself what you need to do to prosper. We're going to thrive in 2025. I'm all about it, guys. I'm ready. I'm poised to do that. And I want you all to be poised to do that. I do have, last week we talked about me maybe doing a live event. And a lot of people said, yeah, do a live event. So I'm still thinking about that. Hi, Thomas. Okay, they're on YouTube watching SPJ or Myron G. Okay, yes. Yeah, that's the smart people are doing that. They are doing that. No more. I don't know, guys, what's on television. I know that we have football, we have basketball, we have the real football, which is soccer, and there are other sports out there. But as far as shows that are on television, I have no clue of what's on there. I think I told you all that I'm a sci-fi fan. So when I do stop and take a break to turn on the television, it's not the TV. It's like a CD. I'm sorry, a Blu-ray DVD or Netflix. Then it's going to be something sci-fi because I believe they're telling us stuff. The nation for 2025, I'm hearing that we're going to have some very excruciating situations. Right now, I feel like, as far as the presidency is concerned and what's going on, I feel like someone was in a house and they were renting that house, and they tore the house up on the inside. They weren't taking care of the house. And then when they were asked to leave, they didn't leave. And then when you had to evict them, they tore up the house. a lot of the stuff that is being done right now, it appears that they're trying to do before the eviction is up and they get put out the house. Some of that's going to affect you financially. One of the things that some people might be happy about, supposedly, the Biden administration is talking about giving away some, well, forgiving more student loans. And we talked about a little bit these pardons. I've been told that there are some serious pardons. There was an article talking about, oh, he pardoned about 1,500 people, and their sentences were wrong anyway. They shouldn't have got that time. But then I heard also within that is a group of about 10 that did some really dastardly things that are getting ready to get pardoned. So it's like a free for all around here. It's almost like we're turning into a banana republic. It started back in 2016. No, a little bit before that, when Al Gore was running for president. That's when I first kind of felt that something was going on. And then all the way up through now. So just be careful out there. Pay attention, not to the television, but pay attention to what's going on in your environment, in your financial environment. We talked last week about some of the jobs going away. If you have a job and you even fear a little bit getting a pink slip, we need to get that business started like pronto. So I'm going in, Maggie. I'm glad that you consider yourself a lifelong learner. All of us should be lifelong learners. I haven't learned everything about everything. I can't go in and say, well, I know everything about accounting. I know everything about nothing. I'm trying to learn as much as possible to use as I serve potential clients of my virtual assistance business. However, my aunt, it didn't, your chat feature has been cut off. It lets you chat. It lets you put a certain amount of words and then it'll cut it off. Because I learned that chatting on somebody else's live stream, it just cuts off. But continue on with what you were saying. However, my aunt, and keep going. Carlos says it's going to be a great new year. God bless everyone, and it is, because we're not going to sit here and complain. We're going to watch what's going on. We're going to observe and be aware of what's going on, but we're going to pivot and do something about it. So that's another question came in from one of you guys, and I guess I can answer that since it's not quite 9:00 yet. She asked, if you're in a business, how can you pivot if your business is in decline? This person has a business. It's a brick and mortar business, and the demand for that service has declined. She asked me, how can you pivot? I suggest that you table, or at least minimize what you're doing with the business that's not going well. Just let me make up an example. You have a business and you used to have 50 clients, and now you're kind of gone down to 10 or 20 clients, and then those are kind of iffy. Well, scale the business to the ones that have been with you and that are there. So let's say you have 5 good clients. Take your time and cater to those 5 clients, but because you don't have 50 anymore, you only have 5, that frees up your time to do something else. You all know I talk about doing stuff online. It doesn't necessarily have to be online, but it's best for it to be something online. Something that you can do with your hands and put it online. So if you have a product, if you have a service, make sure you are offering that, because online, we've got the whole world. I actually have people that I've consulted with in 4 different countries. I'm in a class right now where I'm the participant, where we have people from Spain and Africa. So don't limit yourself to the United States. Pick something that you can do and get it out there. Now, we need people that know how to do marketing, because I'm horrible at marketing. I've had other people tell me they're not good at marketing. But once you select something, go out and find out whether that's something that the market wants. Don't just pick something because you feel like you can do it. Find out what the market needs, find out what the market wants. If I wanted to write a book about how to recycle cans into a statue, and I was passionate about that, that would be fine. I could keep that as a hobby. Nobody's gonna pay me to teach them how to do that. So, and that's an extreme example. I've known of people that have degrees like a psychology degree, and they wanted to teach people how to express their anger in ways that are safe. Well, a lot of people don't realize how angry they are. So first of all, you got to overcome the fact that people are not going to admit that they're that angry. Pick something that is exciting, pick something that people are going to pay for, and either write the book, make the course, start the YouTube channel. That's the way to pivot. That's the if you don't have the funds to go out and pivot and start something like a real estate company, start something online. Okay, I'm gonna go back into the chat again. My aunt says I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that's okay, Maggie. It's like the trades that you are a jack of, make sure they're making you some money. Because to me, if you know enough about something, even if you're not a master at it, your goal is to master it. But if you know enough about something to make some money, start there and then continue to learn until you're a master at it. I mean, I know a lot about a lot of stuff, but I'm only pursuing the things that I think are beneficial to the marketplace. For example, I wrote a whole course on, uh, how women should act and in that whole interpersonal thing. I'm not doing anything with that right now because women don't want to hear what I got to say. The older women are supposed to teach the younger women, and I'm the older women, and these young women don't want to hear that. So, am I going to try to push that just because I wrote the whole course on it? No, I'm not. That's just a good example. I'm not going to do that. If the time changes where the younger women want to know these things and they want to learn the things that I have learned, I've not always known them, but I know them now, then I may, put that out there. But for right now, no. Okay, I got that about the aunt. Should you pay off your house but have almost no savings if you are fully employed? I wouldn't do it. I mean, I can only tell you what I would do. If I'm fully employed and I have a mortgage, I would start taking the money, that extra money, and finding investments. So if your house can be an investment, I would put money into making that house an investment. For example, again, I have a basement. I had equity in my home. I got the equity out of the home. I made a full apartment in the basement and rented it out. My mortgage is paid for every single month. So doing things like that with the money, I wouldn't pay off the house. I would find ways to get money from other places to make money to pay off the house. I hope that helped you. Let's see. When is the book you're writing coming? No, I I have 9 books. The last one came out this year, and it's called Increase Your Income and Decrease Your Taxes. So that book's out there. Let me see. Can you see that? Put a 1 in the chat if you can see the book. So that's the book that came out this year. So that's the book that I was talking about. The other ones are on my website: How to Stick It to the IRS, How to Escape the Rat Race, and other books. If you're talking about the book on the relationships, it's a course, and it's already done, and it's sitting in my computer. Just, I did teach part of that class to a group of incoming freshmen and got mixed reviews from it. It's just, that's the whole thing. The things that the young women are doing now are very different than the things that women were doing when I was younger. And along with other factors, I think it's causing a rift in male female interpersonal relationships. So some things that you can do about that. Um, if you want a copy of my dissertation, which will tell you a little bit more about the way this whole course goes, then you can email me at connect@sherrypeeljackson.com, and I will send you a copy of my 180 some odd page dissertation. Okay. Kings and queens of our assignment. Please God and serve others. Exactly. Maggie, amen and thank you. I'm very excited about what God is doing in 2025 for those who continue to trust him. We truly can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Amen. All right. A lot of people are being tourist guides and making money doing that. I don't know where they're First of all, a lot of people in this financial climate don't have a lot of money to travel. So I don't know where they're doing this tourist thing, but it depends on where it is. If they're in an area that has travel and people are traveling internationally, then they may be making some money at it. But again, Carlos, we want to get away from things that are taking up our physical time, because there's only so much money they can make doing that. There's 24 hours in a day. They can't do that all day. What if they're doing tours during the day? They only have maybe 6 hours of sunlight, 8 hours of sunlight. They got to find something else to do. So try not to pick a business that's going to limit you like that one will limit you. Let's see. I did that too, but now I'm in a condo. I appreciate the, okay. Do you know anything about CPNs? That CPN sounds familiar. I don't know exactly what that is right now. I don't know if has anything to do with crypto. There's so many different acronyms and abbreviations that go through my head every day, and IRS tax form numbers. You got to spell it out for me. So I'll give you a second to do that, Rondo, and then I'm gonna go. My books are on. I do have a Shopify channel. So if you go into one of my old videos, you'll be able to see in the description, you can click on the Shopify channel. And I think he has my computer person that does that. He has all the books on there. And he also maybe has one of my consulting packages on there. Okay, so I am going to go. It is right at 9:00. I will be back with another story on Friday. And this story is about our health and some things that we were told to do in 2020 and 2021, that all of the things that people like me knew back then are coming out. So stay tuned for that one, because it's a doozy. And you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you guys on Friday evening.